Okay, and we always start with a disclaimer. The ABA Exam Academy study group was created by and for students to earn their BCBA, BCABA certification. Most of the leaders and participants are not a BCBA or BCABA at this time. These meetings are meant to have active discussions to collaborate, ask questions, and provide helpful suggestions to better understand the BACB for edition task list concepts. Due to this, it is important to know that all viewers and participants are responsible to verify the accuracy of the information being provided in order to successfully prepare for the BCBA, BCABA exam. Some ethical considerations: refrain from sharing any BCBA, BCABA test questions during this meeting. Refrain from sharing any paid resources or specific identifiable client information during this meeting. If sharing any open resource, peer review articles, or books, please make sure to provide proper credit to the author. As students in the field of applied behavior analysis, ABA, we must act in a professional and ethical manner at all times. And these are some rules from the group, ABA Exam Academy rules. Make sure to mute your microphones if you are not speaking. This will allow us to have a clear and understandable conversation. Allow the leader and all participants a turn to speak without interruptions. Make sure to be respectful to others and refrain from using any inappropriate language throughout the entire meeting time. And we're gonna try to have fun. So like I was saying, today we're gonna go over verbal behavior by me, Minerva Mendoza, and I believe it's section D9 to D21, I believe.
14.
18?
14.
Oh, 14, okay. 14. Okay, so D09, use the verbal operands as a basis for language assessment. So verbal behavior. Behavior that is reinforced through the, you can answer that.
Mediation of another person.
Yes. Okay, I got it. Let's move. Mediation of another person. Yeah, you're right. I was trying to find the right page on my paper. Okay, so verbal behavior is defined by the function of the response, not the topography, and it includes vocal, spoken, and non-vocal written, sign, etc. So verbal operand is the unit of analysis in behavior and verbal behavior, man's, tact, etc. What is the unit of analysis in verbal behavior? Did anybody know? What is the unit of the analysis?
That's the MO or SD,
Mm-hmm.
and then the response, and then the consequence.
Yes. So that's the unit of the analysis of the behavior. So all the verbal operands, it has to do with this, with the MO, the SD, the response, and a consequence. What is a set of verbal operands emitted by someone called?
Repertoire.
Verbal repertoire.
Verbal repertoire. Good. Use the Skinner 6 types of elementary verbal operands. Who knows which ones are?
Man, tact, echoic, textual,
Introverbal.
transcription, and interverbal.
Good job, guys. Come on, I can move this. Good job. So we're gonna describe each of the verbal operands. So echoic, use of echoic training. What is the AKA for echoic?
Verbal imitation or
Yeah, you're right. Verbal imitation. A verbal operand that occurs when the speaker blank the verbal behavior of blank.
Copies the verbal behavior of the listener.
Repeats.
Yeah, a verbal operand that occurs when the speaker repeats
Or the speaker.
the verbal behavior or another speaker. Yes. So these are some words that we can, refer to echoic, repeating, echoic, verbal imitation. And this is controlled by verbal
SD.
SD, correct. So for example, Minerva says echo, Vanessa repeats echo. So verbal SD is the echo from the speaker and echo from the listener. I have two things in common with that response. Who knows what they have in common?
Point to point similarity.
Formal, similarity, and point to point.
Point to point what?
Correspondence.
Correspondence. Yes, good. Okay, so point to point correspondent blank of the verbal stimulus match the beginning, middle, and end of the blank.
Response is the last word.
Uh-huh. What it matches? The what?
When the beginning, middle, and end
Of the verbal stimulus matches the beginning, middle, and end of the response. Good job. So informal similarity for echoic is when the controlling antecedent stimulus and the response share the blank. It can be both visual, auditory, or tactile, and is physically blank. When the controlling antecedent stimulus and the response share the
Same sense mode.
yes, and is physically the start with S.
Similar.
Similar.
Similar or same. Good job. So this is an example of point-to-point correspondence and formal similarity. Hearing echo and responding echo. It has both point-to-point correspondent and formal similarity. An example for point-to-point correspondence, but no formal similarity, will be hearing the word bear, which is the verbal SD, and writing down the word bear. Did anybody have a question or another example of this?
Something I've seen in mocks too for point-to-point correspondence, it has to have more than one syllable. So if you hear the letter A and then you repeat A, it doesn't count. It has to be more than just one letter.
It has to be more than one letter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. Good to know. Thank you. Okay. Echoic training involves bringing the verbal responses under the functional control of verbal SD that have point-to-point correspondence and formal similarity with the response. What will be the goal for the echoic training?
It leads to other verbal operands such as manding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You want them to transfer the response to the other verbal operants that are more advanced, like she said.
Good job. Yes. So that's enable the speaker to repeat the teacher's sounds and ultimately transfer the responses from form to other more advanced verbal operands. Good job. This is how to teach echoics, and we do this by what? What do you use to teach echoics? Start with SH.
Shaping.
Shaping. Shaping, which is that teacher presents a vocal verbal stimulus and reinforces the individual's
Successive approximations.
yes towards that sample. For example, teaching the word hat, we start with a and then a, so it will be like at until it is achieved. For beginning echoics, we need to choose simple sounds, one syllable, that are in the client's repertory. And teach echoic systematically, we have to introduce consonants after vowels are mastered. Oral motor imitation, building physical strain, like for example, blowing on items or use stimuli, etc. And these are some prompts of levels. Physical, put a hand on face or touch face, gradually shape mouth formations. Any questions about this one? Something that I'm missing? Are we good to move? Okay, so man trainings. I got confused here because man is the first operand that we need to teach, and I don't know why the task list start with echoic, but man is the second item, I guess, in the verbal operands in the task list. So what is man?
Man
A
is,
demand under
Request.
a motivating operation.
is a command and it's a
Man.
demand.
Yeah, so it's a type of verbal operand in which the speaker asks for what they need or they want. So we also refers as wants, and it's controlled by what?
And
A motivating operation.
Emo. Nada is this. And it occurred due to a state of what?
deprivation.
Deprivation or aversive stimulation. And is reinforced by
Specific
Getting
consequence.
item.
The item, the object.
yeah, getting mandate items. Good. There's two types of mans. Who can tell me that?
Pure man and extended man.
Yes. Do you know the difference between each one?
I believe the pure man is it when you don't have to actually say what is this.
You say pure man?
That's pure tact, I think you
Oh,
meant.
pure tact.
Okay.
Oh, you
I was like, what?
Man and
my
extended.
bad.
So it's regular man and extended man. Yes.
Right.
So regular man, what that can be?
It's something that can actually be reinforced. Like, so if you said I want this, you get it. But extended man, it's when if you're on the highway, you're telling cars to move out of my way. That will never be reinforced.
Yes. So regular man is man that can be reinforced, and extended man is emitted mans to objects, animals that cannot possibly supply an appropriate response. And it basically cannot be reinforced. Then we have two types of extended mans. Who knows which ones are those?
One is magical man, if I'm not.
Superstitious?
Superstitious, yes. What is the superstitious one?
That one, sometimes the reinforcement will occur.
It's like happened by coincidence.
Yeah.
So I remember.
Yes.
Intermittent?
What about the magical?
Reinforcement has never occurred.
It's like a wish.
Yes. So superstitious man reinforcement sometimes occur incidentally, or I like that word, the gentleman. Armando?
Yeah.
You said what did you
Coincidence.
say? Coincidence. I like that. So like slot machines. And magical man is reinforcement has never occurred in the past. So wishing, I wish I had $1 million. Everybody's wishing that. I wanna win $1 million. Okay, use mind training. So mind training, again, is the first verbal operand to teach. We need to bring verbal responses under the functional control of the emos. And where to start? What do we need to know when we start the mind training?
What motivates the client?
Yes, that's one.
What is in the client's repertoire,
Yeah.
such as, verbal, vocal versus gesture.
Wouldn't you want to know if the client like already ate? Because, for example, if you're going to do a men training and the client just had a snack, that won't be the right time to do men training.
Yeah, so that can be when the motivating
Yeah.
is strong. Yeah, so just gonna give it to you. Oops. So what motivates someone? When is the motivation strong? Can you capture or contrive the motivation to teach a man? Make a list of potential motivators and related reinforcers, and select few words to teach. Then for beginning mans, what types of words can we choose? Did anybody know?
Some that are related to what the client or student is reinforced by.
Yeah.
Words in their repertoire already.
Yeah, can we choose more, saying more? Is that considered a man to teach them
No.
say more?
More what? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I just heard like
Uh,
sometimes that never teach a child say more because they will say more for everything. I'm not sure.
And more is not specific.
I mean, I guess, let's say if you already gave a student a piece of candy, and then right after they ate that piece of candy, they sign more. In that context, you will know what they are asking for. But if you did not give them anything prior to them saying more, you have no idea.
But that will be more for as a sign, teaching the sign instead of the word speaking.
I mean, either or should be fine. I mean, if you
Okay.
saying vocally or if you're signing it, it's still the same purpose, asking
Both
for
are
more.
still verbal behavior.
Yeah. Okay.
Verbal and vocal and non-vocal.
Okay, so for beginning mans, we can choose related to strong motivation for each item to teach, toys, food, etc. You can control access to, can be available for a short period of time at first, easy to deliver and or remove, consistently strong. It has to be on the client's preference, not adults' preferences. Involves response from already in client's repertory. And these are some examples of the higher level mans to teach complex mans, manning for attention. We can teach, look at me, manning for people to do things for you, move, manning for information, the WH questions. Using mans with adjectives or prepositions like color, etc. And increasing the length of mans like I want a book. Any questions about any man training? Did I miss something? Are we good to move?
You're good.
Okay. So now we have tag training. So who can describe what tag is?
It's labeling.
Labeling?
Using something that you come into contact with one of your five senses.
Yes. So occurs when the speaker name things action that the speaker has direct contact with through any of the sense mode. And like Armando was saying, labeling, verbal response in the blank thing tacted.
In the presence.
Yes. It is controlled by?
Nonverbal stimulus.
Nonverbal is the
Yes. And it produce what type of consequence?
phrase.
Generalized condition reinforcement.
Yes. That one. For example, saying car when you see a car and smelling food and saying someone's cooking food. Tag extensions. What is that AKA for tag extension? Anybody?
Extended tax.
Yeah, extended tags.
Backwards, kind of.
Like backwards. There are several ways to describe the same thing, and when a new stimulus is similar to another known stimulus, it may evoke a response like the original stimulus. The distinction based on the degree to which a new stimulus shares features with the original stimulus. There is 4 types of tag extensions. Who can do those?
solistic,
Mm-hmm.
metamorphical. I could have
Metaphorical.
Metaphorical.
Metonymical.
One more.
Generic.
Generic. Yes. So who can explain solistic?
It's pretty much
grammar.
having like,
Or grammar.
there you go.
Explain.
Like slang. Like my example. I ain't gonna go instead of I'm not going. What about metaphorical?
Compare something using like or as.
Okay, so that's metaphors. Novel stimulus shares some but not all features associated with original stimulus. Like Mary is as sweet as honey. Metonymical.
In my own word, it's like talking in association. So, like the example you gave in the bottom, saying pillow when you see your bed. So you're associating pillow with bed. You're associating cup with water, something like that.
Yeah, like it doesn't share the same features exactly, but somehow it's acquired control.
Yeah, so it's the verbal responses to new stimuli sharing none of the relevant features with the original stimulus. However, some irrelevant but related features has acquired stimulus control. Generic extension. Saying car when shown a truck. Who can explain that?
Generalization.
So pretty much all the features look alike.
I'm always remember this one with the Pokemons that show when they ask like, what is that Pokemon? And I'm always saying Pikachu to anyone because I not even can pronounce their names. But for me, all of those, Pokemons are Pikachu. Easy way to remember.
Everyone.
Okay, use tag training. What is tag training? We can talk about that. It involves bringing what? Involves bringing verbal responses under what?
Non-verbal stimulus.
Yes. So under the functional control of nonverbal is this. So what are some of the tag?
Sorry, Minerva, when you get a chance, bringing is not spelled correctly.
Bring. It bothers you? Okay, I can pick it.
BRING. BRIN,
Oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing.
That was something.
Okay, tag prerequisites. What are some of the tag prerequisites?
Have to be able to have like mastered the echoics.
Okay, that's one. How many months they have to be in their repertoire? Anybody know?
Is it 5?
5 to 10 months that occur without, any echoic prompt. And they have to know like some kind of labeling. And this is how we teach tags, like teaching mands. However, the form of verbal stimuli change from what do you want, instead of using that we use what is that, or what do you see. It's not a pure tact, but it's part of the tag, part of the intraverbal. And why is because a nonverbal SD and a verbal SD is controlling the person's response. Any questions about that one? Okay, so pure tags. What are the pure tags? If I show you the picture of a cup, what are you gonna say?
Cup.
Cat. Pure text, you don't have to ask them what's that. They'll just do it.
Yes, exactly. So you want a person can tag without anything in place except that non-verbal SD. Man training and tag training can be done simultaneously, and it distribute mixed manding and tagging during the trials. So for beginning tags, what types of words we have to choose?
What's that? What's this?
Should be
Words
in the repertoire, yeah.
Yeah.
You could do one syllable words like cat or dog, things that they would know.
Yes, and
Things that are already in the environment.
yes, it has to be in the environment. So we can use during the man training, any words that we use during the man training, we can use for tags, and such as 3D nouns that are related to the client, like milk, dogs, and it has to be easy to present and manage during the sessions. So tag should be taught systematically with man components. What do we have to do?
I'm sorry, what do you mean by 3D nouns?
Like a dog is it's a noun and it's a 3D object as opposed to like a card, a picture of a dog.
So the object with the picture, right?
I'm thinking that I assume that it was talking about like things that were relevant to the learner's environment, and I guess based on the examples and stuff like that, like a child, that drinks milk or has a pet that's a dog, or I guess in this case, or maybe you have like a stuffed animal or a bottle of milk as opposed to like a card that has a picture of milk or a picture of a dog, because it has to be in the environment for them to label it.
So just real life items.
Yeah, it's using 3D objects, because a lot of these verbal operants are used in the VB map assessment. So later on, whatever, I forgot what section it is exactly, when they talk about like match to sample, you're going to see the same usage as why you teach mans and tax like at the same time with the 3D objects. So that can be generalized and transferred over to match to sample later. So like that's like the backstory to all of that. But it's using like 3D examples. Like, so if there's like, you know, a plastic tiger and you've got like a bucket of animals, using that as opposed to using like a flat generic picture of like a tiger.
Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you. So tags should be taught systematically, like with man component. Would they have an iPad present? Is this an iPad with the, you know, MO? Then provide the iPad. Without the man component, so that's when we use the 2D cards and there's no MO. Any questions about tag training? Okay, using intraverbal training. Who can give me what is an intraverbal training?
Conversing.
Abersi?
It's using like verbal response to
Mhm.
A verbal stimulus. So there's no point-to-point correspondence.
Yes.
So it's like answering a question or filling in the blank.
Yes.
A speaker and a listener, but you're focusing on their answer.
Mm-hmm. So it's answering a question. Of course, when the verbal SD evokes a verbal response that does not have point-to-point correspondence with the verbal stimulus, and I mean, they don't match. Let someone talk and think about things that are in physical present and what type of consequence it produce.
Generalize.
Yes. So for example, saying I am when someone asks you if you are going to pass your BCBA.
1 minute warning.
What happened?
1 minute warning.
Yeah, 1 minute. Two. Okay, so intraverbal training involves bringing verbal responses under the functional control of verbal SD that do not what? Do not have what?
Point-to-point correspondence.
With the response. Good job. And intraverbal prerequisites for the intraverbal? How many mans they need to have, or tags? At least how many?
50.
Yes, a person needs to have at least 50 mans and tags in their repertory